The Fight Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at underdogfantasy.com and use that promo code SGPN. That's underdogfantasy.com and the promo code SGPN.
He's a big monster, this Hulk Hogan is. I am the superhuman of wrestling. Hulk Hogan is a superhero. He is the best that there is. The symbol of greatness. Our national hero. The nation looking to him. God created the heaven. He created the earth. He created all the Hulkamaniacs. Then he created a set of 24 pythons, brother. The man with the bionic bicep. My hero, your hero, everybody's hero. A legend in his own time. Hulkamania lives in World Championship Wrestling. The Hulkster, the WCW Heavyweight Champion of the world. You can call this the new world order of wrestling, brother. Hulkamania is dead. And now, into the 90s, brother, Hollywood Hogan is the man that sets the pace for professional wrestling. We have witnessed the rebirth of Hulkamania. Hulk Hogan is once again a man.
You are listening to The Fight Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. This episode is dedicated to the life and the memory of the one and only Hulk Hogan. You can follow the Sports Gambling Podcast Network on X at the SGP Network. That's at the SGP Network, and also at Gambling Podcast. That's at Gambling Podcast. You can follow me on X. I am at SGP Soccer. That's at SGP Soccer. I'm the host of the Soccer Gambling Podcast, and I have just launched my YouTube channel for the Soccer Gambling Podcast. Be sure to check it out. It is short form content, which is looking back at last season for the top Premier League clubs, and the new videos are looking ahead to the new season. So small 60 to 90 second, easily digestible preview. Short form content is what you'll find over on the YouTube. So I encourage you to check it out. The Sports Gambling Podcast, they are back with their 32-team NFL previews right now. They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. Each episode, they're going to give out one word of a 32-word phrase. Submit the phrase for your chance to win a $1,000 Circa future. Don't forget, the easiest way to make sure you never miss the Soccer Gambling Podcast, the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, or any of the shows on this network is to subscribe to the SGPN app. It really is the easiest way to make sure you never miss any of our free picks or any of our free pods. If you're looking for additional free picks and pods from me, be sure to search for Lock Betting wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube as well. The Lock Betting Podcast will be up and running again as the Bundesliga is coming back, and that's also where we post our NFL podcast every single year, and Lock Betting content will be returning to YouTube shortly as well. So make sure you are subscribing to both for free bonus content from me. But of course, if you're looking for all of my official plays, then you need to head over to lockbetting.com. That is my transparent and track service that has delivered 145 months in a row of transparent and track profit. Why is it transparent and track? Because there's spreadsheets for every single month. The older spreadsheets are posted over at lockbetting.com, where you sign up. And if you're looking for the newer stuff, that's all on Instagram. Instagram is the hub for everything we do. The Instagram is at lockbetting, and there you'll find the newest spreadsheets. You'll find the latest three pinned to the top of the page, so you can see exactly the type of bets we do, the sports we bet on, and most importantly, how we manage a bankroll. I can tell you now, we manage it sensibly, making this service accessible for anybody with a disposable income. If you don't have a disposable income, you shouldn't be gambling. I'm not here to solve your debts and your issues, but if you do have a disposable income and you want to start investing in sports betting rather than gambling on it, then head over to lockbetting.com. 145 months in a row, transparent and track profit. You can see it on the spreadsheets. It's verified by existing members. That means we haven't had a single losing month in sports betting in over 12 years. So as I said, Lock Betting's Instagram is a hub for everything we do. There you'll find the spreadsheets, you'll find betting information videos, you'll find free plays, and it's a place to contact me if you have any questions about anything related to Lock Betting. So let's start with a Hulk Hogan tribute here. Hulk Hogan passed away last Thursday. That was 8 days ago. This is one that hit me hard. Same as Michael Jackson. Two people that you just take for granted who I felt would always be walking the face of the earth, and when they disappear, it leaves a massive hole. And this leaves a massive hole in the wrestling world, because wrestling as we know it, wrestling being this mainstream thing that everybody knows about all around the world, is only because of Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon to collectively, and both of them are blacklisted now. Both of them are blackballed, although Hogan did come back. He wasn't widely accepted by everybody, and a lot of people I see online are celebrating the death. And I'm going to address that situation as much as I possibly can here, because I don't own this podcast. This isn't my platform. I am somebody who works for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, so I have to be more careful about what I say. On other platforms, I don't have to be. So all I will simply say is that the good that Hulk Hogan's done completely outweighs that one incident where he was recorded in private. And when you actually listen to what he says, if you're not one of these wrestling fans living in their basement, spatting off in their echo chamber to each other, because that's really what the wrestling community has become. It's a group of people who didn't have many friends in school, aren't exactly, for the most part, aren't exactly having incredible careers, and they kind of gravitate to each other as failures. They come together through their love of wrestling, and then they become obsessed by it, and then they become consumed by it, and then it becomes an echo chamber led by the wrestling journalists, who for the most part are not cool guys. They also seem to me to be the type of guys who are bullied in school, and suddenly they gravitate towards pro wrestling. They have a higher level of intelligence than the bums who are living in their basement with their parents, and they decide that they are going to formulate their opinion. They're going to grow a following. Their following are these losers, and these losers will just copy the opinions of these lesser losers because they've actually developed a platform and can grow audience. And for the first time in their sad little lives, people are actually listening to what they have to say, because they've gone through their entire school life, college, university, and no one gave a fuck about them, either because they're not cool or the way they look, or they can't compete in sports. Whatever the things are as you're growing up that make you the cool kid in school, these guys ain't the cool kid in school. But they were smart enough to establish themselves as wrestling journalists, but they still carry those issues over from school where they're not cool, and they've never had friends, and they've never had girlfriends, and no one ever listens to them. So instead, they decide to take control of this epic echo chamber where they delude themselves into suddenly thinking that they're important, and they can convince a very, very group of men who are even weaker than them to shadow their opinions, and therefore that creates the echo chamber, which is the IWC, which then creates this hatred for Hulk Hogan, which shouldn't exist. The reason why the hatred for Hulk Hogan exists is because through this echo chamber, these journalists told you all along that Hulk Hogan wasn't a very good wrestler. That Hulk Hogan was an overpushed individual who didn't deserve the opportunities that he got. And Hulk Hogan, after creating wrestling into what we see today, along with Vince McMahon, and taking it mainstream, did, in the eyes of many, overstay his welcome. Not for me. Because for me, when Hulk Hogan moved across to WCW, he established WCW, took it away from being this small, southern-based company that no one gave a fuck about, a very clear number two, to suddenly being a competitor. Hulk Hogan's heel turn, when he joined in Formula 8 at the NWO, was the biggest heel turn in the history of the business. John Cena recently turned heel after being a babyface all the way back, dating back to 2003. So after being a babyface for 22 years, John Cena then turned, which was huge, but it wasn't as significant as Hulk Hogan joining the NWO. I think a lot of these newer fans don't understand what Hulk Hogan did and what he meant to pro wrestling. And while Steve Austin is great, and Roman Reigns is great, John Cena is great, The Rock is unbelievable, obviously a worldwide star, Undertaker's great, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Andre the Giant, Roddy Piper, all these names I can chuck out, Warrior Savage, nobody is as big as Hulk Hogan. Nobody did what Hulk Hogan did. So these Gen Z people can come in and they can point to that one video because they didn't grow up with Hulk Hogan and weren't raised during a time where Hulk Hogan was significant and brought through a lot of the things that we see now, toys, video games, and basically just the worldwide knowledge of who the WWE is, pretty much starts with Hulk Hogan. For me, Hulk Hogan is on the same level as Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Coca-Cola. That's how well known this fucking guy is. And without Hulk Hogan and without Vince McMahon pulling the strings, there is no WWE going worldwide, and there is no internet wrestling community. So these people that are crying and bitching, they don't have anything to watch, and they would have to have an echo chamber based around something else. Don't know what that would be, but it would probably be video games or something like that. Something that these bums kind of gravitate towards. So I put no weight in their opinion. I prefer to focus on the positive tributes, and mine have all been positive. I loved Hulk Hogan. I loved meeting Hulk Hogan. My son, who's going to join me on the show, is going to, before we start talking about SummerSlam, I'm going to get his opinion in meeting Hulk Hogan, because I think he'll tell you it was above and beyond any other wrestler, which kind of tells you why Hulk Hogan got to where he was, because he knew how to act in every situation, including how he conducted himself backstage. But these people will tell you Hogan wasn't a good wrestler, and he over-politicked backstage, and he was always there to protect himself. But I don't give a fuck about that. For me, it's all about what we saw on screen, and Hulk Hogan always knocked it out of the park. Some of the biggest moments, biggest feuds in wrestling. In fact, number one heel turn, number one wrestling moment when he slammed Andre the Giant. He's a number one wrestler, number one draw, number one ticket seller, number one merchandise seller. Everything for me, all the metrics point to Hulk Hogan, and also the eye test for me points to Hulk Hogan being the number one guy. And yes, obviously, that video was bad. Some people feel like you can't defend it. As a parent, I can. Hulk Hogan was talking about his daughter and a situation that he found his daughter in, and I think a lot of people use different language in public. You also have to look at the situation. This is a guy who's having sex with this woman, albeit his friend's wife. A bizarre situation in itself. But sometimes men say certain things in situation when they're around attractive women, and they're just trying to make conversation or appease them. And again, whatever the excuse may be, you could say it's inexcusable. For me, I heard a distressed father who was angry about a certain situation, used some racist language. Again, he was also in a situation where he's talking with a woman that he may be trying to impress, or may be trying to get on her wavelength. I can't make a concrete excuse, but I can make enough sort of watered down excuses for me to not hold that grudge against Hulk Hogan. And I'm talking about this as a person who's in brown skin, who can look past what Hulk Hogan did. I know he's not a racist because enough people have come out and said he isn't. I know there's a lot of black people that have played tribute to Hulk Hogan since he's passed away, the likes of Mike Tyson, Don King, others, a lot of black wrestlers as well, and that's good enough for me. The Make-A-Wish stuff is good enough for me. The work for the charities is good enough for me. What Hulk Hogan meant to me is good enough for me. Hulk Hogan's interaction with my son, it's good enough for me to pay full tribute to Hulk Hogan and not need to say anything like, oh, he's a controversial character, but, you know, his legacy is going to be complicated. His legacy is that he's the fucking greatest WWE superstar of all time. His legacy is that professional wrestling without Hulk Hogan still only exists in a regional sense. It's a regional thing. That's all pro wrestling would have been. I don't think it would be on our TVs the way it is. It would probably be it was sandwiched in somewhere late night or on Saturday afternoon where it was at one point. It wouldn't be on major networks on a Monday night and on a Friday night. It certainly wouldn't be on Netflix. WWE certainly wouldn't have been purchased by TKO. All of this stems back to the growth when Vince McMahon decided to make Thunderlips from the Rocky movies the face of his newly acquired company that acquired from his father, and decided to expand across the USA, take over the territories, and then take this worldwide. And it couldn't have been done without seeing Thunderlips and turning Thunderlips into the incredible Hulk Hogan. So if you're a wrestling fan, you have Hulk Hogan to thank for everything. I'm glad WWE did not hold back with the tributes. I wasn't originally happy with SmackDown, where I felt like they just confined Hulk Hogan to the first 10 minutes of the show, but then it did stretch across to Raw and NXT as well. The subject matter of people, wrestlers on the roster who chose not to stand there and acknowledge Hulk Hogan's death is another topic that I'll discover on another show. So I want to keep the tribute brief. And I want to point to the good things. I want to point to the Thunder Lips. I want to point to Hulk Hogan and Mr. T teaming together at WrestleMania 1, beating King Kong Bundy in a cage match at WrestleMania 2. And WrestleMania 2 doesn't exist if WrestleMania 1 isn't successful. We all know about slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 in the Pontiac Silverdome. We then move on to the Mega Powers and one of the greatest feuds of all time with the Macho Man Randy Savage, which did incredible house show business for the company. Whether they were teaming up or whether they were going up against each other, you got 2 years of incredible business from the Mega Powers. He then dropped the championship to the Ultimate Warrior, which did not work, but we saw an incredible moment in the Rumble, and then we saw Hulk Hogan dropping the belt to the Warrior. Warrior drops it to Slaughter. They controversially decide to cash in on the Iraq War, on the Gulf War, and they put it on a Iraqi sympathizer, Sergeant Slaughter, who drops the belt to Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 7. This was the one run for Hogan that didn't really work because there were some smatterings of boos in there and people feeling like Hulkamania was over. He did a quick exchange here with The Undertaker, and this is where we have the incident of, oh, you got me, brother, where Undertaker wasn't happy that Hulk Hogan said that he was injured from Taker's tombstone, and Undertaker still holds some ill feelings towards Hulk Hogan. And I'm not saying Hogan is the perfect man. Obviously, there are incidents like this. There are political situations backstage. There's obviously this racial situation that we've had to address, which I didn't really want to, but you have to when you have certain people in this horrible community celebrating the fact that a guy died and he's the greatest person to ever do what you're watching. It just becomes ludicrous to me. We have to address it. And then we have the overly embellished stories with Hulk Hogan. Look, you slammed a guy who was 500 pounds. You don't have to say he was 700 pounds in your stories and then even add to the attendance. 93,000 people there, according to the WWE. It's already huge. You're already huge. There's no need to embellish. The real life of Hulk Hogan already sounds like a fantasy. So I never understood why he did that. And coming back to this, I never understood why he claimed to be injured by this tombstone, but he dropped the belt to Taker, wins it back controversially Tuesday in Texas. We then have the championship decided via the Royal Rumble, and Hulk Hogan ends up working a match with Sid when many people thought that he would end up working with Ric Flair, and he didn't. WrestleMania 8 was supposed to be Hogan and Flair. It wasn't. It was all changed up. Flair ended up working Savage. Hogan ended up facing Sid and retiring for a bit. Ultimate Warrior came back and made the save in that match. It ended in a DQ, and Hogan and Warrior celebrated in the end. And when Hogan passed the torch to the Warrior again, and Warrior failed again, and they had to bring Hulk Hogan back the following year to appear at Vegas. Originally a tag team match, but then he turns up at the end of WrestleMania 9 and ends up winning the championship after Bret Hart loses to Yokozuna. He quickly then drops it back to Yokozuna and then leaves the company after a UK tour, which was the only time I watched Hulk Hogan wrestle in person, which was in the UK at Earl's Court in London in 1993. Hulk Hogan then joins WCW, and he does finally do the match with Ric Flair. Has multiple title matches, but after winning the title from Flair, but the WCW fans don't really react to Hulk Hogan the same way that the WWE fans did in his peak, and it gets very, very quickly old for them, and the boos start to smatter in relatively quickly during his second year. So they decide to go down a route to turn him heel, and that's when you get the biggest heel turn in history with Hulk Hogan joining and leading the New World Order. Hogan is dominant as champion. He does drop it quickly to Luger and then wins it back, but everything's building towards a massive Starrcade match with Sting. Sting takes 18 months away from wrestling, and we only see him in the rafters, but slowly we're building towards Sting saving WCW from the NWO and winning the championship. That didn't quite happen. The circumstances around him winning the championship were very controversial, with a quick count that never was, and Bret Hart being involved in the match. And very quickly, WCW decided after an 18-month storyline that Sting isn't going to be the man. So despite the fact that he beats Hulk Hogan, very quickly the championship is back around the waist of Hulk Hogan. And then WCW decide to pull the trigger on their new star, Goldberg, where you can hear over 40,000 people screaming in Atlanta as Bill Goldberg ends up winning the championship in his hometown and did a massive rating on Nitro. Many people thought that was a mistake, he should have done it on pay-per-view, but it did break up WWE's momentum where they were beginning to win the ratings war with WCW. But that switched for one night as Goldberg beat Hulk Hogan for the championship. After that, his WCW run was not as eventful because obviously WCW decided to move in the wrong direction. They decided to reformulate the NWO. We have the finger poke of doom. Hulk Hogan then turned babyface again and started to don the yellow and red again. But WCW went out of business at the beginning of 2001, was purchased by the WWE, and WWE did an invasion storyline, but it was without Hulk Hogan. It was without the NWO. It was without Bill Goldberg. They didn't buy out the big stars, and in the end, it inevitably failed. But the big stars did turn up in 2002, where a large part of WrestleMania 18 as the NWO came in just before No Way Out, and Hulk Hogan was set to work with The Rock. During that match, the crowd basically told the WWE that they did not want Hulk Hogan in the NWO and they didn't want to boo him because of the legend that he was, and they turned on The Rock. And what we saw during that match was fans cheering Hulk Hogan out of the building. But WWE obviously expected it, because after that match we had Hall and Nash come in to try and attack Hulk Hogan and turn Hulk Hogan babyface, and he ended up posing with The Rock. He then went on a babyface run where Hulk Hogan did some of the best work in his career in 2002. He won the championship from Triple H because WWE obviously had to capitalize on the momentum that Hulkamania had. He then dropped the belt to The Undertaker the following month, but by that time Hulk Hogan had already won the belt and had already been the guy who was the last WWF champion and the first WWE champion. So he drops it to Taker. He ends up having good matches with Jericho, Kurt Angle, and is written off TV after being taken out by Brock Lesnar, the guy they were pushing at the time. Hogan understood the deal was that Brock would take him off TV, then he would come back to MSG at the Survivor Series and win it. But when it turned out that Vince McMahon wanted him to lose again, Hulk Hogan decided to step away from the WWE. But he returned again in early 2003 for an actual feud with Vince McMahon. He worked another match with The Rock, which was cost by Vince. And then him and Vince McMahon had an incredible match at WrestleMania 19. Then Hulk Hogan was fired from the company, but then did return as Mr. America. The whole storyline there was supposed to be that eventually you realized it was Hulk Hogan, but it was always Hulk Hogan quite clearly because of the way he spoke and the size of him and the yellow mustache and whatnot. But we never got to see where that storyline went because obviously Hogan wasn't happy with the direction, and Hogan has always had control over his creative in the later years of his career, and he ended up stepping away from WWE TV. He then returned back periodically, did two major matches, both at SummerSlam, where he beat Shawn Michaels in a match where Michaels had to turn heel and controversially oversold. There's a lot of backstage politics surrounding that match because you had the WWE wanting them to do 3 matches where Hogan would win 2-1. Originally wanted them to do 2 where they went 1-1, and then they pitched to him you going 2-1, and Hogan just said, I'll do as many matches as you want as long as I win them all, which obviously rubbed Shawn Michaels up the wrong way, which resulted in him overselling in the match. WWE then did something in 2006 with Hogan and Orton, and again they would like him to lose considering they were promoting his TV show, but Hulk Hogan decided that he was going to win his match with Randy Orton and there was nothing WWE could do about it. So these are some of the political problems that wind people up the wrong way, because there is that internet wrestling community who hate Hulk Hogan for this and were ready to throw him under the bus. So when he did make that mistake, it was obviously a lot worse for Hulk Hogan. They were ready to jump on him. They already disliked him because they didn't think he was a good wrestler. They thought he was overpushed. They felt he should have lost to Shawn Michaels. They felt he should have lost to Randy Orton. They felt like he should have lost to other multiple people during his career and therefore held that resentment towards him. And also when you compare him to someone like a Steve Austin who came from the ranks when he was stunning Steve Austin in WCW and had to work his way to the push, Hulk Hogan was obviously the chosen guy because he was Thunderlips on Rocky. So therefore, he didn't have that relationship with the fans where they saw him come up, and he didn't have the relationship with the journalists, most importantly, who write about these things. So Hulk Hogan was always a massive mainstream star, almost from the beginning, and therefore didn't need to engage with this wrestling community, all these wrestling journalists who decide on who's good and who's bad with their phony star ratings and whatnot. So there's a lot of reasons why people disliked Hulk Hogan. A lot of people also blaming for where TNA went wrong, because after parting ways with WWE, Hulk Hogan then was brought in to run TNA with Eric Bischoff. And a lot of people actually liked the direction TNA were going in up until that point where they were kind of focusing on youth. And Hulk Hogan made a lot of changes that fans didn't agree with. He also put himself on TV as a major character, hiring back the likes of X-Pac, Hall and Nash as well, which people didn't agree with. People weren't as bothered about at the time, but when it didn't work long term, they suddenly start pointing fingers at Hulk Hogan because everybody's a Monday morning quarterback. So that wasn't really a successful period for Hogan. After that, he didn't wrestle again, but he did make appearances for the WWE as an ambassador. In 2015, we had the incident where he obviously was involved in this sex tape where he was caught using racist language and then was exiled from the WWE temporarily, taken out of the Hall of Fame, which he went into in 2005 and then put back in and then re-inducted in 2020 as a member of the NWO. But he never got the same reactions again after that crowd response because this is an unforgiving audience of losers for the most part, which is unfortunate. And they really should have forgiven Hulk Hogan. And it's sad that his final appearance for the WWE was him being booed at the Intuit Dome in January on WWE's first episode on Netflix. So that's Hulk Hogan's career in a nutshell. That really is a nutshell, and that kind of tells you how much he's done. We've not spoken about the movies, No Holds Barred, Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando. Haven't got time for that because this would then just be a Hulk Hogan tribute show, and we do need to now move on to talking about SummerSlam. I am going to bring my son in to help me run through the betting lines and give his predictions. He's also going to give you his thoughts on meeting Hulk Hogan because I think they're more important than mine because he's a kid, and Hulk Hogan makes kids and adults feel like the most important people in the room every time you meet him, which is one of the great things about him. So before we do that, let me let you guys know that we are brought to you by Meta Spins Sports, which is your destination for crypto sports betting. That's spelled Meta Spins, METASPINS. You can sign up today with Metaspin Sports and get yourself a 100% risk-free bet. Plus, you'll also receive a $25 bonus on your first deposit. So be sure to get started today by heading over to metaspins.com/sports. That's metaspins.com/sports, and you will get yourself a 100% risk-free bet and a $25 bonus on your first deposit. One more time, that's metaspins.com/sports.
Social media an apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids that we grew up with, that made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers. I didn't know to the extent of all the horrible things that he had done. Since last night, I have done a lot of research, talked to a few people, and learned all of the horrible, horrible things that that man has done, which is way more than just making a mistake and being human. So because of that, I have taken the videos down, and I apologize to anybody that I offended. I am sorry. Also, during last night's live stream, I used the word colored instead of saying person of color, which is a very outdated, very offensive term. A few moments later, somebody educated me and told me that it wasn't okay to use that, which I immediately apologized to everyone and said I would never do that again. So once again, to anybody that I offended, I am sorry. You know, my whole page, my whole brand is based on holding people accountable and doing better. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standards. I am human. I am still growing. I am still learning. And I promise all of you, I will do better. I have nothing but love and kindness in my heart. I will continue to try to make the world a better place. And once again, to everybody, I apologize.
Yeah, I'm good with being colored. And I don't need to be a person of colour. I just don't see the fucking difference. And I don't see what these liberals want from people. And I don't see why this guy caved to it. Because he literally posted out a video of him in fancy dress, dressed as Hulk Hogan. He's obviously met the guy and had an impression of him. And then has been made to change it by these people who are against everything that anybody does, and yet, in a weird irony, they are the bullies in every situation. They have literally bullied him off his platform. This is a guy I actually liked. He would go into the gym. If you don't know what he does, he would call out people for filming in the gym and filming other people in the gym who are trying to reach their goals, and they would laugh at them, and he would call them out, and he would call out other fitness influencers, and he became popular through doing that. I didn't realize a gym guy would have, or maybe he didn't realize he would have a woke liberal following, because when you usually look at these guys, they're fat, overweight, rainbow haired, and they turn to this kind of stuff because their life's not moving in the right direction. So once you've failed at everything, what do? Dye your hair purple, go to the internet and start crying about everything and start getting people cancelled because you failed. And that's what they've done to him. And I'm surprised that he backed down. If you're ever in a situation where the liberal mob, where these losers are after you, just double down. Tell them to go fuck themselves and do the content again, and even worse. That's what I've always done. That's what I used to do with from the very beginning, whether it be with Nick or Cav. And joining me now is not only Austin, who I said earlier, but Nick, who you probably haven't heard from for how many years?
Probably 3 to 5 years, somewhere around there, man.
Probably because of these people.
Well,
not through you being emotionally pissed off, but just sick of dealing with them, if I recall.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much stopped watching wrestling completely because I just couldn't get on board with the types of people who were watching it. I'm not interested in their political affiliations. I just thought that they were lower class individuals than the type of people I like to surround myself with, and the type of person I think I am.
And you look around. Sometimes you have that feeling, where you look around and you see the guy with the 3 belts, or the guy that needs 2 seats, and you do kind of wonder, why am I in this place? Like, usually, when you're at a baseball game, you're with like-minded baseball fans who want the Yankees or the Mets or whatever to win. There's just not that like-mindedness. There obviously is around a lot of that community, but I think what WWE have done with their pricing is tried to kind of phase them out, which is why we're looking at $190 for a Raw ticket on Monday. I don't want to. I don't want to say too much about them and sort of more keep it on Hogan, but obviously it's hard to do that when you have such a divide. You literally have people celebrating the death. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to come to you, Austin. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this as a teenager, and from you meeting Hulk Hogan? Just talk about your meeting with Hulk Hogan comparatively to other wrestlers, and then just what you feel.
Well, most wrestlers are nice in general, to be honest. And when I met Hulk Hogan, he was especially nice. But when did I meet him? I was 6, right?
Yeah, Nick was there too, 2017.
Yeah, and I met him last year as well. WrestleMania, when was it?
WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, I met him last year as well. And both times he's been pretty nice. And I've seen videos of him being nice. And
I don't think he was pretty nice. I think he was above.
Yeah, I think he was exceptionally gracious.
Yeah, he got down for you. He could see that he wasn't bending his back isn't something that he likes to do at that age, but he did do that for you.
Anyways, I know a lot of people are saying he's done a lot of controversial stuff, but in the end, he's done a lot of things to cancel that out over his career, and I don't think at all his death should be celebrated. That's awful.
So you would still, when you're making a Rushmore or anything like that, it doesn't negate any. It doesn't come into it for you at all.
No. I just put the wrestler and the character down. Nothing to do with the outside life.
I'm trying to figure out what the other stuff that guy was going on about. When he said he's done a lot of horrible things, increasing Andre the Giant's weight? Is that actually, embellishing stories? I don't think counts as an actual bad thing to do. When you're
a wrestler, that's what you're supposed to do. That's called kayfabing and being a wrestler.
Do you think he looked deep enough into it and into looking into that doesn't work for me, brother? Kind of. Well, Hogan not wanting to do jobs in the ring.
Yeah, it was the Yokozuna Brett thing that really put him over the edge. That really made him realize that Hogan was such a dirtbag, right? I mean, come on, give me a break. The guy is the most important professional wrestler in the history of professional wrestling. He is on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Just like George Washington, who was a slave owner, let's not forget, is on the Mount Rushmore, the actual Mount Rushmore. You can't judge someone by their darkest instincts or their worst moments. You have to judge someone as a whole. And I judge Hulk Hogan on what he did for professional wrestling, creating this sport the way it is today. I judge him on the joy he gave me as a child, right? Like, this guy made me love professional wrestling. He was my hero, and I loved him, and I thought he was the greatest thing ever. A lot of celebrities are dirtbags maybe in their private life. I'm not saying Hogan was one of these things, but a lot of celebrities have dark issues. I mean, Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt, all these guys have horrible reputations in their personal lives, but no one seems to mind that because of their talent. And I feel the same way about Hulk Hogan. Do I agree with some of the stuff he said, especially on that tape with his daughter? No, but at the end of the day, he thought it was a private conversation, and he was in a really, really horrible place in his life. His wife had just divorced him. He was having sex with his best friend's wife and being filmed surreptitiously, and you know, he was going through this horrible time. He was having all this back surgery. He had just got caught cheating on his wife with his daughter's friend. But none of that is Hulk Hogan. All of that is Terry Bollea. And Terry Bollea and Hulk Hogan may have been the same person, but come on. Hulk Hogan was a guy he played on TV, and that's who my hero is, and that's who I'm sad left us.
Yeah, and I think I'll double down on what I said, because I'll always double down. I think it doesn't happen to Hollywood stars because they're not in this community. I think this community's become toxified. I think what you have on top of the community are the writers who had a poor relationship with Hulk Hogan. The writers in this industry, I don't think, come from a great social circle or a sports background or anything like that. We've got we've got people who weren't relevant at school or bullied at school who have gone on to gain importance by having their opinion heard on podcasts and on social media, and suddenly they have a great deal of importance and influence when they shouldn't necessarily have it. And they use their influence to influence these even more weaker-minded people that will tell you that Hulk Hogan's not as important as he actually is, that the quality of his wrestling matches are the most important thing. They feel that Hulk Hogan was almost handed this because he was Thunderlips and Vince McMahon chose him as the face, which then didn't give these people the access to Hulk Hogan that they might have had with a Steve Austin, who was coming up and previously stunning Steve Austin, and Steve Austin was able to move up the ranks. And when Steve Austin abandons his kid and kicks the shit out of his wives, it's suddenly ignored because they're deciding that there is a pecking order, and it's not Scott Hall murdering someone. It's not Steve Austin kicking the shit out of his wives. It's not Lex Luger being wholly responsible for the death of Elizabeth, who was not into drugs or anything before she was involved with Luger, and he killed her. It's Hulk Hogan saying this one thing. That's the choice that they make.
Well, I don't think it is, though, Billy. I think that the reason why people go after Hulk Hogan is because they can't believe that character could be real. He played Superman. He always did the right thing. He never lied. He never betrayed his friends. I mean, up until the NWO, obviously. But when he was Hulk Hogan, he was Superman, right? And people have a problem with that. Look at the steroid trial. You know, they tore him down then. People like to tear down
But you don't think the
icons.
cage match and the 5-star ratings, and because they are at the forefront of...
I think that contributes.
They have more influence now over the opinions of the... I mean, the people that are spouting out on social media, it's 50-50 the wrestling fans who are into these what are considered to be better matches, even though it's only the opinions of the likes of Meltzer and whatnot. And then you have the new thing, which is the people that are saying one more MAGA off the board, which is the new people that he turned against him last year. So I'm going to leave it there because I want to move on to SummerSlam and actually get some bets out on this show. So after we come back, we are going to look at SummerSlam as me and Austin break down the betting lines for SummerSlam happening at MetLife Stadium. It's a 2-night show. Don't know why. The ticket sales are telling you that they probably shouldn't have done this. They are pushing to get to just 45,000 at the moment, and we all know that MetLife holds around about 80, especially when you can utilize the floor. But WWE will reduce these tickets and do what they need to do to make this place look full, and SummerSlam will happen on Saturday and Sunday, and we're going to break it all down here on this show.
I don't know who leaves with this on Sunday, but I do know who wins. each and every one of you. Because I'm finally over my own BS, and at long last, we get to see Cody Rhodes face off against the greatest of all time at my best. With something to prove in a main event street fight with no rules that you wanted. Well, if you want some, come get some. And on Sunday, the only platinum rapper showing up to whip your ass is me. The champ is here!
So we say goodbye to Nick and we are left with me and Austin because Nick's not been following the product, and me and Austin will break down the 2 nights for SummerSlam now. We will look at the betting odds and make our predictions. Lucky we waited, because for some reason John Cena has turned babyface before SummerSlam. Now, the most predicted finish, and it could still happen from most people for this SummerSlam main event for night 2, was for Cody to win and for Cena and Cody to embrace and for John Cena to move forward as a babyface. But that could still happen. But Cena's already a babyface after last night's promo, unless that is a swerve and Cena double turns heel, because the heel turn hasn't really worked. And I don't know if this is WWE conceding that. And that's very odd, because what you're saying is that we had John Cena for a year and we think we might have wasted 7 months of it. Or this is going to be Cena doubling down on a turn and swerving people, or this is just to make sure Cena gets more cheered than Cody because you're setting us up for a Cody turn. We don't know, but it's interesting to discuss all the possibilities, and we will get there when we get to night 2. But first of all, we have to do night 1, where we have 3 tag matches on the same night. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso will go up against Heyman's crew. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll teaming up against McIntyre and Logan Paul. And the women's tag team titles are on the line. But we'll start with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, where Orton and Jelly Roll are at different prices everywhere, but they are favourites. The most significant place is William Hill, where they have Orton and Jelly Roll at minus 800. And the best odds of McIntyre and Logan Paul are 9-2. But in some other places, you have Jelly Roll and Orton at the best price of 1-3 minus 300. But still there, you can get McIntyre and Logan Paul at 5-2 plus 250. That's the worst price I've seen available on the team of Logan Paul and McIntyre. Now, Paul and McIntyre have had to get the worst of this in most of the segments. You even had them do a massive TV talk show appearance where Logan Paul was chokeslammed through a table as Jelly Roll was presenting late night. So, whilst I usually know all celebrities do come in and always win, WWE always put over the celebrities. You have the likes of, looking all the way back to Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania 11, Mr. T and Hulk Hogan went over, Floyd Mayweather beat The Big Show, Logan Paul won when he was being booked as a celebrity, Bad Bunny's unbeaten. So that's what usually happens. Here, I just feel like McIntyre and Logan Paul need to win. And I'm surprised these odds aren't closer. And I'm willing to bet on Logan Paul and McIntyre as underdogs because they have lost most of this build-up. And Jelly Roll really doesn't look as athletic as other people that have done this before. When you're looking at someone like Lawrence Taylor coming in from the NFL as an NFL athlete, obviously Bad Bunny, quite a skinny guy coming in as a WWE performer, but he performed very, very well. Somehow, Bad Bunny looked believable, even when he beat Damian Priest. So I give them a pass on that one. But for me, Jelly Roll, despite the fact you've given him Abyss from TNA's offense, peak Abyss offense, I still think he could take a loss here. What do you think, Austin?
I don't agree with you, to be honest. I think, especially after SmackDown yesterday, where Jelly Roll just got kicked the shit out of by McIntyre and Paul, I think that they're going to win, as most of the time celebrities win, as you said. But I don't think this time's going to be any different. I think last night was set up for Jelly Roll to get beaten up and then him to win tomorrow. So I reckon Jelly Roll and Orton win tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been much more certain that McIntyre and Paul were going over, as they would have lost this whole build-up. And Jelly Roll, Jelly Ball, Jelly Chub, he got enough shine on TV where more people watch. Obviously, it's on Netflix internationally, and Peacock is very cheap here in the US. So pay-per-views now are being consumed by more people than ever, even though that sounds criminal because, you know, Austin and Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan days should have been more viewed. But a lot of those pay-per-views are now free to air, so I'm sure over time the consumption has increased more than what it did when it was originally purchased on pay-per-view, and probably those audiences have tripled, maybe quadrupled. But getting back to my point, for a live audience now, pay-per-views are consumed by more people, so it's not really a thing where Jelly Roll gets a significant amount of more time on free TV, but it's always usually the case, and especially when you get the better of Logan Paul on a late night talk show. But yeah, that segment last night did throw me, and maybe they are just going back to their usual thing where celebrities win. Randy Orton also needs something. My original thinking was possibly that Randy Orton could help extend John Cena's title reign by turning on Cody. And the start of that heel turn would be to maybe RKO Jelly Roll his partner for costing him the match. But I've strayed away from that. But I still land on Paul and McIntyre at these odds. I don't want no part of Orton and Jelly Roll at odds between -300 to -800. When -300 is the best price and I'm on the fence and I can make a case for the other team, I'm going to go for the 9-2 option on McIntyre and Logan Paul. Whilst gun to my head, I'll probably take Jelly Roll and Orton. But from a betting perspective, I'm going to take the underdogs. So we'll cover the next tag team match next, where Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are wide favourites everywhere. The best price is -600. And you can get between 7-2 and 5-1 on Breakker and Bronson Reed. For me, I can't make a case for the bad guys. I think it would be good if they did win for their careers, and Jey Uso can take a loss here because he seems to be going backwards with his push. But you took Roman's shoes, and that is a gang thing. When you get beaten up in the streets in gang warfare and they take your shoes, it's the ultimate sign of disrespect. I don't think Roman Reigns can lose here when his shoes were taken. For me, that was the key shift in where I'm now 100% with Jey and Roman, and don't give these heels a chance unless they massively double down. It's like, we took your shoes, we beat you at SummerSlam, you're off TV again for a few weeks, and you're going to make this unbelievable return just before War Games, where you finally get the win for all the stuff we did to you. So could this be the extra thing they do? We took your shoes and then we beat you.
Yeah, I can definitely make a case. I can definitely make a case for the bad guys winning. I could definitely see a new member coming in or anything like that. But I think if there was a gun to my head, I'd pick Roman and Jey, especially after that shoes thing. Massive disrespect. So yeah, I'd take Roman and Jey.
Do you know about that on the streets?
I saw.
Because you're on the streets right now, like
how am I on the streets
with your little friends.
Not on the streets.
You like to walk around the streets. Tell me you're playing basketball and football, but I think you're going like down to the mall and the shops and.
Sure.
I know you're not where you say you are because you turn your tracker off. So.
My tracker's been off for years.
Well, I'm just looking for some insight about the streets.
Oh, you're talking to the wrong guy.
All right, but you know that's what it means on the streets.
Yeah,
it's a big.
I'm aware.
So I'm going to go for. Well, I'm going to sit. I'm not recommending a 1-7 bet at all. So I'll probably sit off unless I can make a case for the underdogs. Your case might be better than mine. The only case I have is the War Games case. Up next, we have that third tag match. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte are at 7-20, so just under minus 300 to win the championships, and it's 39-20, so round about 2-1, just shy of 2-1 plus 200 on the Judgment Day, retaining. What do you think happens here?
I definitely think Charlotte and Bliss win here.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't see it being any other way. New tag team, long story. Like, they used to, like, not be friends, but just team together, and now they became, like, good friends and stuff. I think the whole build-up just leads to them winning. So, yeah.
You don't think that they need to keep the belts on Judgment Day for a longer period because they've got the tag belts and Dom's got his belt and they want to maintain that visual more than a 6-week period?
Nah, I think they could. I can definitely make a case for them, but I think Bliss and Charlotte wins this. Especially since I think Charlotte needs to win.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that I thought they would originally pull the trigger at Evolution because his tag division is quite dead, and Roxanne's just come in and taken Liv's title, so it's not a strong, a strong championship team. You could have had them drop the belts, but they established them, and they've got to the match here, which is probably a better and bigger occasion to pull the trigger on Charlotte and Bliss, and I think that's a decent parlay piece at 1-3 for those two. Up next, you've got Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton, where I'm surprised to see Jade Cargill not as a favourite, but so wide. It's like they're absolutely certain that she's going to win. She's 1-7, and Tiffany is at 15-4, so nearly plus 400 on Tiffany. Jade Cargill, not a very good wrestler. No matter how long she practices at the Performance Center, she didn't really improve at AEW. She's now been with the WWE for 18 months, longer than that actually, and I still don't think she gets it. I don't think she's reliable in the ring unless everything is kind of choreographed out for her, and still, like, sometimes the execution is poor. You can still see her in there talking in the ring. I don't know if that'll all be forgiven because she looks good and she has that look that WWE have always gravitated towards, and I wonder here in this babyface versus babyface match, it's had quite a soft build, if somebody needs to turn heel to win this, and if that is what you do with Jade, and probably why you got her completely away from Naomi, because you can't have Jade and Naomi going at it now, because Naomi's getting cheered, and I think she would get cheered over Jade. So perhaps Jade wins with a heel turn here or something to set up a future match with Bianca. But I do think she's the right side. I just don't like the odds. I think 1-7 in a match where they're quite invested in the other girl too, and even gave her a big WrestleMania win. And the other one has had ample chances to show that you're a good in-ring performer, and even botched her pin over Asuka. Got a massive win over Asuka to be the queen, and botched the pinfall in Saudi. So I think Jade wins, but 1-7, I'll skip that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Jade wins as well, but odds are pretty poor. From a betting perspective, it's bad. Like, you might as well just take Tiffany Stratton if you're going to bet on it.
I mean, $10 to win, to make a profit close to 40.
Yeah,
does seem
it's not much of a risk. But then Jade Cargill, you'd have to put 700 in just to win 100.
Right, exactly. Okay, so we'll move on to Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, where Zayn is a strong favourite everywhere. Let's quote this price of 2-5, and you can get Kross at 15-8. Kross doesn't have a contract. If he loses here, a lot of people think he's just going to leave WWE. I don't like Sami Zayn. I don't have any interest in this rumour that he's going to win the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia and then go on to win the championship. But there's a lot of talk about him never being the champion. So does he get rid of the Kross obstacle here and then start chasing the belt? Still quite far away from the Royal Rumble, so you could take this loss here and then, later on down the line, get your win back. But I just have the feeling Sami Zayn's going to win, and we are heading towards him picking up wins, looking stronger, and having a performance in the Rumble where he wins it. And I don't have any interest in that. But WWE have done a lot of things that I have no interest in, such as last year pulling the trigger on Jay winning the Rumble. And I like Jay to a certain level. And I liked Sammy to a certain level. And now I dislike Sammy because he's past that level. Sammy's past the level where I can support him, because what I think I'm seeing is too much Sami Zayn, too much rah-rah speech, too many rah-rah speeches. I will do it. I will be the champion. I will prove you wrong. It's like, listen, you're a fat little ginger guy, and I don't want to see you as the world champion, because if you can be the world champion, then I can be the world champion. And I shouldn't be the world champion because I'm a 180-pound, 6-foot guy who doesn't deserve to be champions when I've gone and stood next to the likes of Hulk Hogan, and that is a real superstar, and that is the type of people that we should be bringing in and start making these people the champions and the faces of the company, and getting away from your Daniel Bryans, CM Punks and Sami Zayns. Let's get away from this shit and start making proper athletes champions again. There's a place for Sami Zayn, but it's not here. Karrion Kross should win, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, in WWE would be impeccably stupid to put Sami Zayn as a champion, especially how bad.
Did you mean incredibly stupid?
Impeccably, both mean the same thing.
Impeccable means perfect.
I mean incredible.
Right.
My bad. Anyways, it would be very...
Didn't you just get a good mark in English at school?
Yes, I did. I got an 8 out
Oh,
of
you
9.
fucking use AI. I'm sure you did.
No, I didn't. I'm not an AI user. Anyways,
Can you stop going across the mic with your hair?
Sorry.
Right.
Alright, as I was saying, I think Karrion Kross definitely needs the win, and it would be very, very stupid to give Sami Zayn a title later down the line, especially how shit his his Intercontinental title run was straight after he beat Gunther. He got a massive push and he flopped it, and he lost it to Breaker straight away.
Well, you lose it at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't flop it.
He didn't do anything good. That title run was bad.
I can almost see an exact copy of where Sami Zayn wins the belt. Could even win it from Gunther at WrestleMania. But I think more likely Seth Rollins. I can see him beating Seth Rollins and then losing the belt at SummerSlam to the same fucking person. We could get a match that we saw last year. 2 years later, we could see Breaker and Sami Zayn in a SummerSlam rematch where Breaker squashes him again for the belt because Sami hasn't worked as champion. I think the Intercontinental title reign didn't really work because I just don't think they booked it well enough. But if they didn't book him as the Intercontinental champion, why can they book him as the world champion? I'm just not interested in it at all. So now, finally, we move on to the World Heavyweight Championship match. I'm expecting this to main event, but there are rumours that Roman's match will main event. But CM Punk will challenge Gunther for the championship. Gunther is the favourite here to retain the belt. This surprises a lot of people, surprised me. And I actually think we could see the underdog prevail here after CM Punk actually dedicated the match to Roddy Piper. Punk is a 31-20 underdog, so just above plus 150. And Gunther is the 4-9 favourite. I did see one place offering these similar odds. And then you had Seth Rollins to cash in this match at 10-3. So over 3-1 on Rollins to cash in and Dave Meltzer to be right about the rumour. Although Dave Meltzer's now backtracking and his excuse is, well, I've said it and it's out there, so they might not do it. Let's discount what that clown says. And do you think there's any real possibility that Rollins would have feigned an injury to cash in here? And who do you think actually wins the actual match so we can cash a bet here?
Well, I really do hope Rollins cashes in because I don't like CM Punk. I want CM Punk to win and lose it in 5 minutes, just like Drew McIntyre did. Mm-hmm. I literally love that exact same thing to happen.
But it's out there, so Dave says
it's out there. Yeah.
They might not do it.
Yeah, he might not be wrong that they might not do it. That is true. But does anyone really listen to Dave Meltzer like in WWE?
Well, yeah. I mean, they'll be actively trying to prove him wrong so that they can discredit him and others. And I mean, he discredited himself over the years, so I think the damage is done. And I don't think that's necessarily down to WWE going against what he predicted or said. I think that's just down to him being caught as a liar. I think his sources have been reduced. I think over the years, through Vince, there would have been consequences for talking to Dave. And as a result, less people have decided to talk to him. I mean, look at it from their perspective. You have a job and they don't want you to leak their shit, and you leak their shit to this guy for what reason? Is he paying you? Are you involved in a relationship with him in some way where a friendship or what? It's never made sense to me. Why would you talk to Dave Meltzer? It doesn't add up. It's not exactly a great personable guy where you're like, oh my god, I just want to be his friend so badly. And the only other reason you could have thought of before is when his star system had a lot of weight behind it, and wrestlers would like to be given a higher star rating. But I don't think anyone cares about that. So no, I don't think anyone talks to him. I think he just watches the product and guesses and pretends that he could do what he maybe could have done 20 years ago, which is, get inside info and spoil things.
Okay. On the Royal match, I don't think Gunther wins, to be honest. I take the underdog CM Punk here. I think after he's already missed out on 2 Rumbles and he's returned and he's not done loads, I think this is his chance to win.
Ain't that his story though? I keep coming close to winning the belt, so doesn't that mean he would be better at WrestleMania than Sami Zayn to win it? I mean, that would be more widely accepted. That no one would. I don't like him. You don't like him for personal reasons, personal experiences, but it would be more widely accepted. Nobody's going to be saying CM Punk shouldn't be winning the belt at the main event of WrestleMania. That wouldn't be contentious, I don't think, especially after having so many losses.
Yeah, but winning in the main event at SummerSlam is just almost as good as WrestleMania. So I can definitely see him winning here or cash in. There's a lot of possibilities, but since the odds are him being an underdog, I definitely take that. So I go CM Punk.
Okay. We're going to move on to night 2. And where do we start here? Let's start with, is the tag team championship match on night 2, right?
Yeah, the 6-man, the big one.
Yeah, the ladder match, the TLC match. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Because they released a card and then they added that match, and I would only think it's on night 2 because night 2 had one less match. So if we look at the odds here, Andrade and Rey Fenix are the 8-11 favourites. It's 5-2 on the Wyatt Sixes, who are the champions going in. 3-1 for Axiom, 9-1 Street Profits, 14-1 on DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. Why are Andrade and Rey Fenix the favourites, and why do I think the Wyatt Six are going to retain? I'll tell you why, but you tell me first what your thoughts are.
I'm not. You go ahead first.
Oh, you don't have any idea?
Not really. I don't really watch the tag team stuff too much.
I just think Wyatt Six just got it, and the company are behind. They've tried to. This didn't really work. Their return, obviously, Bo Dallas got injured. There was a lack of main event opponents that they really wanted to tie them together with, thinking that whilst they wanted to get them over, I think working with main event guys damages the main event guys because the Wyatt Six need to go over, and I don't think they were willing to commit to that the same way they were when Bray was involved in this gimmick, and they were more willing to allow big guys to lose to them, whereas they were committed to the Wyatt Six, but not as much as they were here in the tag division. It's an okay kind of spot on the card where you can put these guys over strong. Obviously, if they win here, they've beaten a whole division and they seem unbeatable, but I still think it's too early in the run. You've obviously shown a commitment to them by putting them back on TV when a lot of people said, okay, I don't think they should come back because it doesn't seem like that they know how to book them. But they have, and they are. There's also something in the future down the line where they're going to be involved with a universal attraction with the Wyatt Sixes, and I think they need to be strong characters on TV for that to actually be a thing. So they're my reasons why 5-2 looks too big. And I don't know how you pick a favourite here. Why do you say Andrade and Rey Fenix are favourites? Why them? Why not Fraxim? This doesn't add up, really. I think Wyatt Six, for me, should be favourites, and I'll take them at plus money.
Yeah, I don't watch the tag division too much, but yeah, I agree with that.
That's because you watch most of this on YouTube, right? You're like you're Vince Russo's perfect example of WWE content consumption and why the amount of hours on TV is too long.
Yeah, it is not too long. I watch the main bits on Netflix, but I just skip past it. I don't watch YouTube unless I'm like... I look through the show, what's on it, and then the day before, and then if it's YouTube or what, I just watch it on YouTube.
I think that's a generational issue, though. I don't think your generation moving forward will be able to commit to a lot of things like a whole episode of Raw, a whole episode of SmackDown. You struggle to watch football matches on TV. You prefer to like know the score or avoid the score even, and then watch it on YouTube. You did that with a lot of it.
There's only one sport I can really watch a full game through, and it's probably basketball. It's most entertaining.
And I actually can't. That's one of the games where I do dip in and dip out. Either I have it on or I'll be looking at my phone, working in the background, especially second quarter, first half. But fourth quarter, I'm fully engaged. That's when we get down to the meat and potatoes of things, especially if it's a close game or the spread's close, because obviously we mostly focus on the spread betting and whatnot. So I don't know how you can watch a full game of basketball. I guess it's better when you've got prop bets on an individual player, right? That's what you like to do. You like to do those prop bets, don't you?
Yeah.
Assists and
PRA.
PRAs, yeah. All right. So Solo Sikoa is the 2-5 favourite to beat Jacob at 7-4. Jacob's a 7-4 underdog. I think this is a 50-50. Solo's new as the champion and he's integrated new people into his group. And Jacob's the big guy you want to push. I felt the title change was to keep the feud going. And you have kept it going. You got to SummerSlam. And I would think this is where Jacob wins more likely than Solo retains. You've got the Jimmy Uso factor. But I guess, even though it's in a cage, we know the Tongans are going to get in somehow. So I would think you need another equaliser. If Jacob's going to win and you don't want to bury the Tongans, you do need to add another person to Jacob's team. But it doesn't need to be like two guys. It doesn't need to be 4 versus 4. I think making it 3 versus 4 and one strong person kind of coming in, and I have no idea what that would be, kind of sways it towards Jacob. But 4 versus 2 would be too much, and then I sway towards Solo, even in the cage. So, what do you think here? I think Jacob Fatu wins.
To be honest, I could definitely see either person winning, but
Well, yeah.
if I had to sway, this is probably the closest match on the card for me, other than Cody Cena. If I had to sway towards one, I think it'd be Jacob as well. I think he needs the win more than Solo, and Solo's going to try and obviously cheat through the whole match. So yeah, as you said, if they introduce like another big guy, who could that be though?
I don't know. I have no idea. It could be somebody currently on TV who, LA Knight could get back involved with these guys, even though he kind of diverted over towards doing things with Seth and whatnot. He could easily just come back and be a body here. Maybe Jay gets back involved in this, but I think that's you're away from it. So why do you go back in? I think this MFT group is kind of way lower down on the card than the Bloodline were. I just have absolutely no idea. There are other Samoans and Tongans on this family tree available, and a lot of them do debut as heels, and maybe this could be one of those rare times where somebody debuts as a babyface instead. You've got Umaaga's son still out there.
And there's
Is it Zilla?
Yeah, Zilla. That's Jacob's brother, is it not?
Isn't that Umaaga's son?
No. That's Jacob's brother.
Zilla is Jacob's brother.
Zilla Fatu.
I think you're wrong. Let me see. I'm going to look it up right now. All right, Zilla Fatu. Zilla Fatu, his cousin. He says it in the box here, cousins. And it's got the Usos and Jacob.
Oh.
He's the son of Umaaga.
Oh, right.
Why would you argue with me? This guy.
Yeah,
You've seen this guy around a hotel?
He's got that finisher, the Superman spike. Have you seen it?
No.
It's like Roman Superman punch and Solo spike combined.
We've literally seen this guy in a hotel. I literally come over and hugged Ollie Regis.
I know who he is. Seen him in Japan and stuff.
Right, so he could be involved.
Yeah.
As a good guy.
Yeah.
Because if you're Umaaga's son, I don't think people want to boo you because his dad died. Like young. So, yeah, I think if anyone could be a babyface on that side, it could be him. All right, 2 Intercontinental title matches. They'll do the men's one first. Dom versus AJ. Dom's at 4-9. AJ's at 13-8. I think you keep it on Dom, and I think this becomes a belt that he starts defending on AAA, where he's been appearing as well. So I think the title defense is spread across, and WWE take the Intercontinental title over to AAA. That's how I think this will work out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think Dom needs to keep the title for...
Please keep still.
I think Dom needs to keep the title until at least Mania, and then maybe lose it there. But yeah, I think Dom's got this.
Yeah, I think Judgment Day losing another championship on this weekend. We're relatively certain about the other one, so I think 1 win, 1 loss kind of makes the most sense to me as well. Becky is the underdog against Lyra. Lyra's at 7-20, and Becky is at 2-1 plus 200. The Bayley stuff is all Bayley and Lyra arguing, and for me, Bayley costs Lyra the belt. I don't know how you got these odds. I guess it's a case of, Lyra's the new thing and ultimately put her over, but she's rubbish. Like, she doesn't connect with the crowd. She doesn't, her matches are good, but she's not someone who I would put over. It's not like, if you're going to put someone over as the next star, and Becky's in this position like where Charlotte was with Tiffany, where it's like, okay, you're now in a position where you're a star maker. No, Becky's still the star. There's no star quality about Lyra. I don't think that she's overly attractive. I don't think she's very good at speaking. I think she's not connected with the crowd. You don't have to just force through with your project because you decided it before. You can change course. I could actually make a case for Lyra turning heel here and her and Bayley working together maybe, but then Becky's the heel. So that would be a mixed reaction because Becky's, managed to do whatever she needed to do to scrape away with this belt. So that doesn't necessarily mean that Lyra's a heel because Bayley helps her. It kind of means that they got together on the same page to get the belt off the heel. It's very confusing with everything here, but I just think, for me, Lyra Valkyria is not a star and Becky is, and 2-1 on Becky Lynch is too big, when the most predictable finish for me is Bayley costing Lyra.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said, I completely agree. I don't see Lyra winning. She's not good. She's boring. She's not a star. And I just wouldn't want her to win at all. It'd just be boring, pointless. She's going to drop her after a couple of months. So unless she's going to turn heel, which would be stupid as well, then just give it to Becky, to be honest.
All right, so finish up with 2 title matches. Naomi's a 1-5 favourite to retain the belt she just got. And then you got 3-1 on Rhea and 6-1 on Io Sky.
Yeah, well, this match is easy for me. Easy Naomi every single day of the week.
Yeah, it seems like Rhea Ripley just can't get this belt back, even though she's supposed to be like the face of the company. A lot of the women's stuff on the documentary, Unreal, focused around her. But yeah, I think it's too early for Naomi. What about looking ahead to Stephanie Vaquer? Do you think she beats her too in the next event?
Yeah, I think she does.
It's too early for Stephanie Vaquer as well. But it's weird because the faces of this division, like the main 3 popular women that I think WWE are going to push are Stephanie Vaquer, Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan. When she comes back, it's going to be a big babyface. They all work on the same brand, whereas on the other brand, no one's over. Like, you got Charlotte and Alexa, I guess, are over there, and they're going to be over as a tag team. Jade Cargill's not connecting as a babyface, and Tiffany's title run has worked periodically, but overall, not a good babyface either. So, and then you got Bianca, obviously, on the SmackDown side. I just feel, even though it's a match a lot of people want to see from the beginning, Bianca and Jade, which is what they'll probably build towards, isn't as strong as all these women on Raw who are almost on the same level as the men. I'd say Rhea is, and I would say Liv Morgan is just behind them. And they're going to do big things with Stephanie Vaquer because there's a lot of fans who are behind her, and I don't get that. But it is a fact. I mean, she has that one move, and that's the most viral and most popular move in wrestling right now, and I would love to take it. But yeah, I just don't get the whole Stephanie Vaquer thing. You take that move?
No comment.
Is it the Devil's Kiss?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it's called.
What do you like? What do you think about her? Do you think she's hot?
Not really.
Who do you like?
Who do I like? What?
Who do you think who do you think, as a 14-year-old boy, full of test, is attractive in the women's division?
Full of what?
Test.
What the fuck is test?
Testosterone. You cheated on your English test, honestly.
I'm joking. I know what test is.
Right. Who's attractive? Just one name.
Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan. Easy. Cop out. All right. Let's move on to the main event. We've been building up to this since the beginning, and now we will start to try and answer our own questions, or just talk in riddles for 10 minutes and just end up back where we started. Cody Rhodes is favourite though. He's at 11-20, and John Cena is a 13-10 underdog. Seen Cena at much bigger odds, just shy of 2-1, in fact, in some places. So do shop around and get the best price on John Cena if you think he's going to win. I do not. I think Cody Rhodes wins the championship here, be it a 50-50 match where they hug and kiss at the end, be it he's the heel and align with The Rock, or just turns heel in some other way. Maybe he's not aligned with The Rock. Maybe Triple H comes out and turns heel, and he's just like, this is my boy. This is the son I never had. I love you, Cody. I love your dad. Fuck you, Cena. Whatever they do, I think Cody Rhodes is leaving with the belt. And if it's a heel thing, that's a lot better. That makes TV for me a lot more easy to watch and digestible. But if it's Cody as a babyface who hugs John Cena and cries, I'm not down for that moment at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like that moment. Then Cody decides to just kick him in the nuts and beat the shit out of him. Same thing he did at Elimination Chamber.
But then The Rock's not involved, so there's no soul or anything involved.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be a soul. He just can turn heel. Or it could be anyone. It doesn't need to be Rock. I
think if he turns heel, it needs to be bigger than that. Why is he just turning heel for the sake of it? Like, The Rock offered him, a massive push and everything you ever wanted for you, your family, generational wealth. And he's like, okay, I didn't take that, but I'm just going to turn heel on John Cena for no reason. And it's hard in the street fight setting as well to do things within the match, because low blows in the match or anything like that, eye rakes, low blows, chairs, brass knucks, whatever, it's all good. You put it in the rules. It's not like the ref can go down and you can do something. So the heel turn, would be defined by what you just said, something after the match, or an interference from someone that would clearly signify you are heel because you've gone down that route.
Yeah, either way, I don't really see Cena leaving tomorrow night with the title.
No, he's on borrowed time because he needs to be a full-blown babyface. Although then he did say yesterday, I want to leave with this belt because I want you to remember me. And
he can win it back in December. Like, he doesn't need to win that one.
Oh, and then leave with the belt.
He could leave with the World Heavyweight title.
Oh my God, like literally does get to leave with it.
Yeah, why wouldn't he get to leave with it?
Because then what happens to it? It's on the line in the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia and Sami Zayn wins it.
Oh, that would be so... Oh, God, that would be bad. Yeah, but I reckon...
Do you know when we're sitting here going, oh, that would be bad? Do you think there's podcasts that are being like, oh, that would be great? And if the majority leans towards that would be bad, which for me is common sense, do you not think WWE pick up on that and be like, yeah, actually, people aren't down with this?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some geeks that think that's good around, but for the common wrestling fan, I don't think it's very good.
Common casual.
Yeah, someone like just most people we know would probably not like that.
People that watch it mostly on YouTube. Right.
No. Just the people that don't sit there, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, every documentary, every show.
AEW.
AEW. I'm talking about the people who just watch Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views. They'll pick that. They won't want Sami Zayn.
People with lives don't want Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But that's the only option. That's not the only option for what they do at the Royal Rumble, but the only option if Cena leaves with the belt is to put it on the line at the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble's not for the title shot then.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we've seen that twice before. We've seen it once before, sorry, and then we saw...
No, we saw it at 32.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, that's different, though. We saw Ric Flair for a vacant belt. We saw Roman Reigns have to defend the belt in the Royal Rumble. It's two different things. Yeah. But it was the same outcome. The winner of the Royal Rumble leaves with the championship. The difference being one was vacant and one came in as a weird Royal Rumble title defense thing. So I think all are aligned with that Cody Rhodes leaves with the championship in some way.
Yeah, hopefully a heel way, but
No way Cena wins, no chance.
No.
Randy Orton, nothing like that. You're off that idea now.
Yeah, I am.
So would you say Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes happens with Randy Orton as a good guy then?
Yeah. I mean, I would. That's
And
not
straight after this?
No.
Or WrestleMania?
Rumble or WrestleMania. Either of those two. They won't do that at a non-massive pay-per-view.
So what do you think of a WrestleMania where your main events on the 2 nights are Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton? I think that sounds awful.
I mean, Orton versus Rhodes is not that bad if they put it on night 1. It's just not massive enough for night 2. But Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn is a proper stinker.
And then you leave your Punks and Romans off the title, out of the title picture. It's almost like they would then somehow have to find their way to each other. Like you get the first one-on-one Punk Roman match.
That wouldn't make any sense either. Like, I think it's all just not what I'd want. I mean, I don't mind Randy versus Cody. That's a match I'd like to see. Punk kicking Randy or something like that.
I mean, the Roman Punk match would then have to be as a result of they lose somehow at War Games. Like they go to War Games and lose. And they have a big miscommunication. And then we're building towards those two just doing things to each other and having a big one-on-one match. The one-on-one match between those two was not had at the last WrestleMania. It was saved.
Yeah.
So they could still do it. And this could be Roman's last WrestleMania as well for maybe a while or ever because he's not got a contract and they're not aligned with what they want to pay him or what he wants to be paid. So that's going to be really interesting. Does the last thing Roman Reigns do is lie down for CM Punk at WrestleMania, which would be awful. And that could actually, honestly, you could put Sami and Rollins as the first match and you could close night 1 with Roman versus Punk. But obviously we're getting way, way too far ahead. But not ridiculously so, because I think now at SummerSlam, you need to start looking at SummerSlam results affecting WrestleMania, right? I think new champions that come out of SummerSlam, I expect them to be the champions at WrestleMania, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if it was Punk, or if it was Punk to be cashed in, if Rollins isn't healthy, you'd still be looking at Punk being cashed in on the road to WrestleMania, so it's still relevant.
Yeah. Because every main champion won at SummerSlam last year. The 2 world champions went on to WrestleMania. They both lost though.
Right.
So.
Yeah, Cody was defending against Solo, right?
Yeah.
And what was the other one? It was Gunther.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gunther
Gunther.
lost again.
Yeah, and won it at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what do you have here for a lock on the show? Do you have anything that you have in mind? If you thought about where you want to go with it, remember you can parlay 3 selections together, but you can only go as high as 3 because it's wrestling. So what do you have?
My lock on the show is Naomi and Cody because I definitely see those 2 winning, and they're both at good odds.
Well, Naomi's at 1-5 minus 500, but I do think she should be shorter. But when you pair that up with Cody, it does get you to 86 over 100. So £100 gets you an £86 return. Obviously, there's a better fraction for that. I think it's 43 to 50. So yeah, 43 to 50 is the actual smallest fraction for that. Yeah, so 43 to 50 are the odds for that 2-selection parlay, Cody and Naomi, and that's an £86 profit from a £100 bet. I've gone bigger. I have just gone for CM Punk. This is a win-win selection for me. If Punk doesn't win, that's good because I'm not a fan of CM Punk. But if it does win, it's a big payout for you and for me because I will be putting my money on Punk at over plus 150, 31 to 20. So a shade over 6-4. I just don't see it. For me, this isn't even a 50-50. This should be a match where CM Punk is a favourite. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Gunther win, but I think it would be for interference through Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. Obviously, if Seth Rollins comes in and interferes, then all bets are off. This is a null and void selection. Null and void match doesn't count for anything. Rollins is an option in some places to cash in. You could take that as a separate bet. But as I said, the source on that is Dave Meltzer and John Pollock, who've never really been overly reliable in recent history. If Seth Rollins does come in, Be a great finish to SummerSlam and just voids your bet. So the only way you lose money here is if Gunther ends up beating CM Punk, be it clean in the middle of the ring or via interference, and the CM Punk chase will continue. I can see it, but for me, it's not the favourite outcome. The favourite outcome is CM Punk winning and then having a little run with the belt, or CM Punk winning and being cashed in on by Seth Rollins. So all of these, or even CM Punk winning via DQ or something, and this is not the main event. So we carry on with CM Punk chasing in Paris. There's lots of outcomes, but I'm more leaning towards Punk getting his hand raised here, or this continuing after some sort of controversial Punk win, or even Punk winning and them doing a rematch with Gunther, and we just hold off until Rollins is fit. So ultimately, for Seth Rollins to cash in, I think he needs to end Punk's title reign or stop him winning it altogether. So he could be coming in here and making it a triple threat so Punk never touches the belt, or Punk touches it for a very short period. All work for me. The only part about him allowing Punk to win and then cashing in is that Seth Rollins clearly said Punk will never be the champion whilst I'm breathing. So by doing it in a triple threat match, then we get to Punk needing to beat Seth Rollins. But that does feel like a WrestleMania match, and for Punk to have the championship for 3 or 4 minutes and Rollins cashing in and then Rollins winning the blow-off match in Paris doesn't seem like something CM Punk would agree to. But we're seeing a different version of Punk. We're seeing someone who, at least publicly, is the outfacing public image is that CM Punk wants to be a company guy, is willing to do anything for the company, is a changed person, easy to work with. Internally, I'm not sure that's 100% true. I hear that it's not. And even when you're around the WWE like we often are, we kind of see the way Punk conducts himself. We kind of see how he's changed towards fans, even children. It's not like a me and Austin thing, is it?
No,
it's like
there's a lot of kids that don't like it now.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really horrible to a lot of like very small kids, and not like people who you could even say were remotely trying to get autographs to sell or whatever. Like there was a kid who was trying to get that multi-signed that baseball cap multi-signed, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not a sellable item. That's not something where you're going, oh, let me get this whole cap signed and sell it on eBay, when a little kid's trying to get his souvenir cap done. So yeah, this guy has gone back to his prickish self off camera, but on camera he's still playing it very, very well. And yeah, I don't think he would fight for too much backstage, but ultimately winning the belt for a few seconds and then losing the blow-off match to Seth Rollins, I don't think is a really easy sell to CM Punk. But staying on point and giving you my lock here, I'm going to go for CM Punk to win at the price of 31-20 here against Gunther on night one. I have a lot more plays to give you, but you can find them over at lockbetting.com. You need to subscribe to the Ultimate Pack to get them. The Ultimate Pack is my package that has delivered 145 months in a row of transparent and tracked profit. What that means is for over 12 years in sports betting, I haven't had a single losing month. And wrestling is a part of that package. You can also get my wrestling picks by heading over to thedirtysheets.com, where I give all my inside wrestling information. If you subscribe to the $40 tier, you will end up getting the picks for SummerSlam. But I would highly recommend going for the Ultimate Pack. The Premier League begins again in 2 weeks. We have just absolutely smashed the French Open and Wimbledon, and the US Open is on the horizon. And we have never, ever had a losing NFL season. And as you guys know, the NFL is back very shortly. And you also get all combat picks, which includes boxing and UFC. And you'll get the WWE SummerSlam tonight as well. Good luck with all your bets as always. And thanks for listening.